Okay, this is Mr. Anderson for Kellogg Community College. In the final page of our test review here, we're going to take a look at some problems from section 8.4 where we solve for specific variables. I will also say, like I did in previous sections, that these are not necessarily the problems on your test. Anything in your homework is fair game, so please make sure you do your homework, practice it well, and maybe pick a couple problems that you struggled with, and we can get started here. We're going to solve for b. And the easiest thing I can do first is subtract a squared from both sides. And that gives me c squared minus a squared equals b squared. You could also write it as, negative a squared plus c squared equals b squared. Then take the square root of both sides. So b is equal to plus or minus the square root of c squared minus a squared. And that's really all there is to it in this problem. It's nice, quick, and simple, right? Also over here, alternatively, you'd have the answer of b is equal to plus or minus the square root of negative a squared plus c squared. So this is really checking to see if you remember when you take square roots that you should write plus or minus by them. Okay, problem number 19. Okay, so we're going to solve for r here, and then you'll notice that there's more than one r in this problem. So what I'm going to do first is I am going to move the a over. And I think what's interesting about that step, by moving the a over, is that this is going to make this problem into a problem that looks very much like a quadratic formula problem, which is why I put this on the test, or a problem like this on the test, because I wanted to see if you know how to set up your a, b, and c in this problem. Because your a in this case is pi, your b in this case is pi s, and your c in this case is negative a. Now, the reason why I chose the quadratic formula is that when I have an r and an rs, or an r and an r squared, there's really nothing else I can do other than just use the quadratic formula or factor, and this problem is definitely not factorable. So we've got negative b plus or minus, by the way, that's a cursive letter s. My s's look like fives. Negative pi s is my b, so negative b there, plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4 times a times c, all over 2 times a, which is 2 times pi. And this is where I like to split up the wheels, or split up the problem like so. And then I'll have, the plus or minus. Now, all this inside, I'm going to kind of simplify as much as I can. Pi s quantity squared is pi squared s squared. And the negative 4 pi a is just plus 4 a pi. We would write the letters in front of the irrational numbers there. All divided by 2 pi. The only thing I can do now is simplify this first fraction because it's pi divided by pi, so this is negative s divided by 2, plus or minus the rest of this whole thing. This is one of the problems that I did in class when I was demoing problems in this section. And again, there's the warning at the bottom here. Anything in this section's fair game. Okay, so problem number 20. This problem isn't solvable unless you remember SOPs, which is the way to factor a trinomial. This is where we take the cubic root of the first and the second term. So our first term's cubic root is x. Our second term's cubic root is 2. So again, take the cubic root, and then this is a plus b right here. So we're going to have x plus 2 as our answer, and then we will have the SOPs part of SOPs, which is the square of the first, x squared, the opposite product of x and 2, which is negative 2x, and the square of the last, which is 4. Now, we're done with the problem doing the SOPs, but why do we have this in this chapter? Oh yeah, because this trinomial can be factored further. So we're going to actually do the quadratic formula for this second part here. All right, so here we go. We got 2 plus or minus the square root in parentheses. We got negative 2 quantity squared plus 4, I'm sorry, minus 4 times AC. Minus 4, sorry, times A times C, all over 2 times A. All right. So what we got here is 2 plus or minus the square root of negative 12, and we're going to divide both these by 2. Now the square root of negative 12, I would break this up into the product of 3 roots. The product of 4, the product of 3, and negative 1. So this means I've got 2 plus or minus 2 square root of 3 I, all divided by 2. So the 2's simplify. So 1 plus square root of 3, plus or minus, sorry, square root of 3i. That's your answer. A couple things about this answer. Notice that the I is not in the square root. The I is not in the square root. It is, once you factor out the negative 1 is I, not square root of I. Also, you'll see that you should try to simplify radicals as far as you can. So if you wrote square root of 12i over 2, that would not be correct. All right, well, there's the end of the practice review. Thank you for watching all these videos. I really appreciate it. All right, well, good luck and study up for the test.